Hello everyone. Today I'm here to have a discussion on a very interesting topic, sweet science. I'm thrilled to talk about something that affects us all, blood sugar and you. Well, I'll just keep it sweeter than a chocolate cake. But when we're talking about sweets, let's start with a fun quote. Life is short, have dessert first. Yes, but always remember to keep that sugar in check as well, right? So let's get started with the basics of sugar. Sugar is a type of carbohydrate which is an essential macronutrient. Now, glucose is a type of sugar which is used by the cells in your body for energy. Glucose is what your body makes when it breaks down proteins, fats and carbohydrates. It is the primary source of energy for your bodies. Now let's talk about blood sugar levels or blood glucose levels. Now what do you mean by that? So blood sugar level means the amount of simple glucose traveling through your body at any given time. Traveling in the body means that in your bloodstream going in your body at any particular time. Without a continuous supply of glucose, you cannot have your day-to-day functions or you cannot carry out the basic functions. So just consider it like a car without the fuel. Obviously, you cannot go anywhere. Well, obviously, unless you're a Tesla, you might just need a good charge. As we know that our body needs glucose to perform a day-to-day functions. Those basic activities like walking, talking, swimming, going around. But I'll just let you on a very interesting fact. Our brain also consumes a good amount of glucose. Our brain consumes around 20% of our body's glucose to perform its function as well. It's basically like just a kid going in a grocery store and just grabbing all the stuff fastly. Well, yes, that is what the brain does. Now, we know about what sugar is, how exactly we consume it, and what glucose is. So let's just talk about the hero of our story, which is the pancreas. Beneath your ribs, you will find, among other things, the pancreas, an organ that works a lot like a personal health coach. This organ is about the size of your hand and is located behind the stomach. It has both endocrine as well as exocrine functions. Now think of it as a 2-for-1 deal. It produces hormones like insulin and glucagon and also helps with digestion like a real multitasker. Pancreas performs exocrine functions from acinar cells and endocrine functions from islets of Langerhans. Now, islets of Langerhans is the tissue of pancreas comprising of 3 different types of cells, which are alpha cells, beta cells and delta cells. Alpha cells releases glucagon while beta cells releases insulin. Speaking of the superhero of glucose metabolism, let's discuss what is insulin. Insulin is a peptide hormone which is released from the islets of Langerhans from pancreas, that too from beta cells of pancreas. Now just consider this insulin as any bouncer at an exclusive club. It will let the glucose come inside the cells and will keep the excess glucose outside the club. So yeah, without insulin, it is definitely going to be a glucose party. Now let's understand how insulin is secreted in the body. So insulin is primarily secreted as response to the glucose which is present in the body by the beta cells in the pancreas. Now you must be thinking, what do you mean by in response to glucose? So when in the body the glucose levels rise, this raises your blood sugar level, causing your pancreas to release insulin. Insulin then tells your cells to absorb glucose, and then the blood glucose circulates in your blood, delivering energy to all the tissues and organs. As now we have a very clear understanding of what blood glucose is, what is glucose metabolism, the organ which is responsible for the release of insulin, that is pancreas. Now let's just move on to understand how sugar is processed in body. So when we eat sugar, this sugar is broken down into mouth and a digestive tract, which then is absorbed into the bloodstream, and then it raises the blood sugar level and causes the insulin to release. Now the pancreas, when releases this insulin, it then causes this blood glucose so travel throughout the body for all the tissues and organs to absorb. The blood glucose that is circulating throughout your body is responsible for the energy to the tissues. So yeah, the energy that I have at this moment is because of the ice cream that I had in the morning. So where did the excess glucose go? Where exactly it is stored? So regardless of how you consume glucose or in whichever form you're consuming glucose, once the glucose is in your body, it will be absorbed in your bloodstream. Now this excess glucose will be stored in the sites like liver, muscles, and in adipose tissue in the form of fat. So yes, the extra slice of cake that you just had is just making a cozy home somewhere in the liver. As we have discussed about the two hormones, insulin and glucagon, let's just also know how exactly they are responsible for maintaining the glucose level in our body. So for this, to understand the glucose homeostasis is important for us. The alpha and beta cells present in the islet of Langerhans of pancreas are involved in balance of glucose level, known as glucose homeostasis in the body. Increase in the blood glucose levels stimulate these beta cells in islets of Langerhans of pancreas, which secretes insulin. While in fasting state, when blood glucose levels are low, alpha cells are stimulated in islets of Langerhans of pancreas, which secretes glucagon. Insulin and glucagon, hence, are two important hormones which play a pivotal role in glucose homeostasis. Talking about the blood sugar levels, here's a fun fact. The moment you have something or you eat anything, your blood sugar levels rise within a minute. Yeah, it's just like a toddler running around the candy store, snatching all of the things in the lightning speed. So yeah, next time you indulge into your sweet cravings, try to balance it out. Now talking about balancing the blood sugar levels, it is quite crucial for us to know how too little and too much blood sugar in our body can cause numerous issues. The condition in which the blood glucose levels are low is known as hypoglycemia, and on the contrary, when your blood glucose levels are high due to issues like insulin is not produced in the body or your body is not responding to insulin, is known as hyperglycemia. Now this sustained high blood glucose in the body actually leads to a condition which you are quite aware of, known as diabetes mellitus. So what is the normal blood glucose range? So if your fasting blood glucose in a normal healthy person is between 70 to 100 mg per deciliter, then it is considered as a normal blood glucose range. But if your fasting blood glucose is between 100 to 125 mg per deciliter, the person is considered as pre-diabetic. And if your fasting blood glucose exceeds beyond 126 mg per deciliter, then you will definitely be diagnosed with diabetes. I hope this piece of information doesn't haunt you for the next sweet craving. So stay tuned for such interesting videos.